Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Lesser Known Classics. This episode number 2443 and double number 2337. We have a Hulk trade and an Avengers trade. First we have Incredible Hulk Epic Collection, Volume 14. Going Gray, which collects issues 314 330, along with annuals 14 and 15, and material from Marvel Fanfare on 29. I discussed it already, so I'm not going to discuss it here. Your writers of this book are John Byrne, Al Milgrom, Dave Figueroa, and Peter David. Yep. Artwork: John Byrne, Al Milgrom did both. Sal Buscema, Steve Gerber, Dwayne Turner, and Todd McFarlane. Yes, according to Peter David, this is very young Todd McFarlane working those issues. Now, these issues were released for the period of December 1985, and the final issue of this book came out in April of 1987. So yeah, basically about a year and a half mostly for these issues. Excuse me. Yeah, it's like basically we have to have a rotating to our writers before you take over a basically new career team. Yeah, so mostly put in 314 it's just Hulk versus Doc Samson with Betty Ross there. Yeah, it picks up right. It's basically Hulk returning to Earth. That's mostly what 314 is. Then there's the annual where Hulk fights these random creatures for an annual. And it says it takes between the pages of 7 and 8 of Manual 314, issue 314, which is interesting. Oh, yeah, and John Bushman does the annual, along with Sal Bushman the artwork. Yeah, John Byrne has a very, very brief run on Hulk in the 80s. And then in 325, 315, oh boy. This starts a plot thread that, believe it or not, would actually be adapted for the Hulk animated series in the 90s. Hulk and Bruce Banner are separated, put into separate bodies. And this becomes a major thing throughout these issues. And there's also one point where Rick Jones gets gamerated in his own body, becomes Teen Hulk. And was that adapted too? Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. Also these issues, Hulk goes gray. Yep. We also have the first appearance of Diana Bomey, a reporter who covers several areas of the Hulk, and she's here from 315 until basically the 317. She skips a couple issues, comes back for 320, 323, comes back for 341, and their last appearance being in Rise of the Camera 5, and that was it for her. Yep. On by with the whole saga of Hulk and Bruce Banner being separated. This will last throughout these entirety of these issues. Well, until it happens toward the very end. Then we have the Avengers attacking mindless Hulk. And then we have the first appearance of the Hulkbusters, made up of Craig Saunders, Carolyn Premer, Samuel Rook, Armand Mentel, and Hugudo Taka. Mostly put this as a group assembled by Bruce Banner to take down the Hulk. And they point out, you are the Hulk. Yeah, but he's separate from me. And they're here from 317 to 343. Yep. Yeah, and one of the members gets killed off with the very next issue. Yep. Yeah, so then in 319, one of the most strangest things happened here. Bruce Banner marries Betty Ross. And here's a little fun fact. I didn't know this. Apparently there was editorial mandate these two can have kids. Really? And yet Bruce Banner had a kid with an alien in the 2000s. 2 kids, Scar, and the one who became Darkseid, who's now who's as occurred in the comics is not the Earth's core. Now, whoever the editor was that came up with that bright idea, he must be a complete idiot. Yes. And this is strange though. Betty Ross, Bruce Banner, been loving each other since the 60s. They get married in 319 and yet they can't have kids? Whoever came up with that... Now, I highly doubt Shooter would be involved with this, because I highly doubt he'd be the editor basically responsible for this. So, despite like, yes, he was at this point in time, I'm not putting the blame on him. I'll probably put blame on one of his editors who came with this dumb idea. Because I highly doubt Shooter basically would prevent characters in comics from having kids. I highly doubt that, given the fact the guy had humongous respect for continuity. And that would make total sense. So, I don't think Quesada... Quesada was not here at this point. I don't blame Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter is not to blame for this idea. I blame whatever editor at Marvel came with this idea. I blame one of the editors. So yeah, they're married. And they stay married until the end of the run. Excuse me. Yeah. But it seems strange, though. We have this Hulk separate story. We have Bruce and Betty get married. Yeah, and this marriage sticks. Yep. Yeah, then the Hulk basically nearly kills Doc Samson. Yep. Then 320, we have the Hulk bosses, Avengers West Coast. It's basically a 20-on-1 handicap match with the Hulk in 321. And 322 continues. And then basically by 323, we end this storyline. First, Hulk temporarily merges with a Vision, he gets out of that. And then Bruce Banner and the Hulk remerge. And this whole saga lasted for 9 issues. Yep. Yeah, and then we have 324 be a retelling of... Oh, by the way, when they remerge, get this. Hulk goes gray. Yep, and then we get a recap of Incredible Hulk #1, with the cover being homage to Incredible Hulk #1. One of several times Hulk would do this. As a matter of fact, totally awesome. Hulk would pair with homage's cover too. Yeah, it's interesting the fact this is sort of a recap issue, but I thought it was quite interesting. It would lead into the annual. We have Hulk fighting Akira Miyablowski. And Tyrannus becomes Abomination. Now, of course, Abomination last appeared in Secret Wars. And then, like, right after this, he would appear... This is quite strange, though. He appeared in Amazing Spider-Man A number 23 after this. And then we have 325, where then apparently the radiation goes from Bruce to Rick Jones becomes, well, Hulk, but technically Teen Hulk in the animated series. And then in 326, they fight each other. You have Grey Hulk versus Green Hulk. Yep. And they have Zaz show up in the book, where apparently they have General Ross apparently die. And then we have a Fire Creature's Fragment in 328. And then 329, basically, we have first appearance of the Outcast. Yes, who only appeared for this issue, and I believe, like, the following issue. Yeah, actually, they returned for 329, and that was it for them. Why don't we kill it off in the first appearance? And then pretty much we have the death of Ross in 330. And you probably think, okay, we appeared David on these issues. Okay, the obvious question is, which issue did he write? Not 314. I know he wrote the annual. What about 315? Nope. 16. Definitely not 317. Not 318. Not even the wedding issue. Nope. 320. That's actually Al Milgrom did that one. Yep. That was the first issue John Byrne did not do. And he would do it also for 321, 322, 23, 24. Danny Faircraft does the annual. 25, Al Moger with Steve Geiger on the artwork for that one. 326, that's Al Mogrum again. 327, Al Mogrum. 328. Yeah, this is actually the first issue Peter David does. 328. Yep. Does do 329. Nope, it's Al Mogrum. And the final issue, 330, Al Mogrum with Tom McFarlane on the artwork. And it was Creature Notice and Nevermind who gets killed off in this issue. Yeah. Oh, here's something. Apparently, it's Nirvana Al predates Nevermind by 4 years, which is interesting. Yep. But this, with this particularly, with this here, this is the end of an era of it. It's like, okay, so John Byrne's run was very, very brief. His run was like 6 issues. I have Hammers by Al Mogrum. And now we start Peter David's run for the book. That would last for 10 years. Oh my God, 10 years. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, Peter David would sadly be one of the last writers for this book. And if you are really curious, how long did Peter David stay on as the writer of this book? Okay. Let's answer that question. Peter David, of course, did 320 to start with. And he would stay in the book until 367. So yeah, he would do this for 11 years. And also writing 5 annuals. Yep. He would also come back for the successor volume for the series. Yep. He would come back for about 11 issues and he'd be done. But yeah, he even does a lot for Hulk even afterwards. Oh my gosh. Like, here's the thing. He did a mini-series for Hulk during Secret Wars. And like a one-shot story. He also did a one-shot for Incredible Hulk. He also did like 4 mini-series. First year of Mestro. And then Joe Fixit book. Yeah. But it's interesting that he was able to Hulk for on and off for like a long time. Yep. I'm definitely looking forward to discussing his run for Hulk. Definitely. Now here's the thing. I've already discussed basically just Epic Collection Volume 19 goes to past and Volume 22 goes to future. So I got 2 done so far. So this book is kind of the start of his run. But next time we talk about this volume for Hulk, it'll be the Epic Collection. I'm going to give this book a 10 out of 10. Excuse me. Next up we have is Avengers. Epic Collection. Volume 17, Judgment Day, which collect the issues of Avengers 270 to 285, the annual. Marvel number 27, Emperor Doom, X-Men vs. Avengers number 1-4, and West Coast Avengers annual number 2. The West Coast Avengers annual and the annual for 16 of this book, I'm not going to discuss those issues because I discussed this already in the Epic Collection for Avengers West Coast. Now, what happens over the course of these issues? Well, we're starting off here with 278. Yeah, so Wasp leaves the team. Dr. Drew joins the team, and oh boy, he would lead a very weird roster, which leads to a brief disbandment of the Avengers. And then we have John Bush while doing a slight homage to Justice League number 1, which came out the very same year. It's like, who would lead the Avengers? And Dr. Drew basically put in his thoughts, because he was on probation period, that he should lead the Avengers. And Wasser left the team, so they kind of table it. It's suspected, I think Captain Marvel herself leads the team. And then 280 is focused on Jarvis, which is so nice. And then 281, it's mostly put basically the Avengers versus the Greek gods. Yep. Have a lot of fun here with this one. And then 282, Namor rejoins the roster after briefly leaving the team, while they continue fighting the Greek gods. Then 283, it's basically fighting the forces of Pluto. So basically good story arc here. And then we have the Assault Olympus, which basically just really good here. And then we have the finale being, well, take on Zeus and doing the flashback Avengers Massive Evil. And of course, Captain America himself will lead the roster along with Thor. Thor would next appear in Thor 380. Yep. Which is basically the third to last issue of Walt Simon's run. Captain America would next appear in Mephisto versus Avengers Mephisto versus number 4. Yep. But that's the main issues. You think, okay, what about X vs Avengers? That's mostly about how it's basically the Avengers' reaction to have Magneto lead the roster. That's most what the miniseries is. And as for Emperor Doom, that book mostly now, I should point out though something. Okay, I forgot to mention this. The issues are written by Roger Stern with John Bush from the artwork. Now, as for the Incredible Hulk, the Marvel cover number 27 is mostly put Doctor Doom taking over the world, and he succeeds. There's one shot. It's a really fun one shot. If you're really curious for this one shot, like who does the writing and the artwork for this one? The writing of this book is done by Dave Michelini with Mark Greenwald and Jim Shooter, and the artwork is done by Bob Hall. Yep. Yeah, in this one-shot graphic novel, which here's the cover for it, takes place before the events of West Coast Avengers number 1. Yep. An absolute great one-shot. Yep. Highly recommend checking it out. It's so awesome. Who would have thought they had the Avengers taking out Fantastic Four villain? And you would think a story like this would have Fantastic Four. Nope, we had the Evolved Avengers. Yep. Now, if you're curious though, was this adapted for an episode of any cartoons? I believe this one was adapted for an episode of X-Men. Not X-Men, was for Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes for an episode or two, but that was it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Particular view. Stay tuned for my next view, which will be Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, next view. Bye.